guys, it's Rose. Welcome back to my channel and welcome if you are new. So today we are making some side tucks, but we are going to be putting windows in them and we're going to be using lace and all sorts of good stuff like that. This is an example of one that I have made. I'm still working on some spring journals using my Spring Fresh kit. These little stamps come from that kit. And this is going to sit on one of my pages. Let me see here. Sorry about that. This is going to be a side tuck on one of my pages. Not sure it'll be this particular page, and it'll be glued on 3 sides or sewn, not sure yet. And it'll be a side tuck pocket. Okay, so how do we go about making these? Well, I was playing with some lace and the idea of windows and acetate and all that sort of stuff, and I came up with the idea to laminate the lace just to see what that would look like. So then I decided to pop one of my little stamp pieces on the lace before I laminated it, and voila, this piece was born. Okay, so I am mass making these today, but I'm going to go through a full make of one of these with you guys, and then I'll go off and mass make the rest of them, and and we'll come back at the end and have a look. Okay, so I have this one as well. I have 2 like this that are just lace. I'm not putting images in there, it's just showcasing the lace. So we might do this one, and will I? Let me see, would you need me to do the image ones? We'll do an image one as well as a lace one. Okay, so for the lace one, it's going to be very, very easy. We are going to get our lace laminated. Now, as you can see, I have my sheets all ready to go. Now with this one, there's a little bit of work to do, and that's good because my laminator needs to heat up. I'm going to leave these aside here for now. So for this one, I do need to trim my lace. As you can see, I haven't cut it very straight in the first place, but it needs to be trimmed here at the bottom as well. Now I know that you can't really see. Can you see where the laminate is? The laminate comes to about here, and my lace is coming all the way down. So I need to cut it a little bit. Now I'm leaving about somewhere between 1/4 of an inch and 1/2 inch between the end of the acetate and where I cut the lace, so that the acetate will have an opportunity to seal under the lace here. We don't want it left open. If we leave that hang out the edge, the acetate won't seal properly. Now I am sewing these, and because I am sewing these, I could actually leave it open and it wouldn't matter. But if you're not sewing, you really do need to do it this way. So I'm just going to snip off some of that lace, and I have some sticky stuff on my scissors and it's just getting stuck. There's that, just at the very tip there. Okay, now I'm just looking at this and thinking I probably do need to trim this straight. Just a tiny bit. Doesn't have to be perfect, but relatively straight is good because we will have to trim these little sides at some point. Okay, so with my laminate sheet, all I have done, I have taken, I think these were the A5 ones, and I just cut it in half. You decide what depth you want your pocket, what width you want it yourself, this way. I mean, these would make great belly bands as well, would they not? So you decide yourself which way you want these, how wide you want these. And you trim your acetate and your lace accordingly. Now, this lace is 2 inches wide. My laminate is, I'm going to have to get out the ruler now for you guys, because I know you're going to want to know. My laminate is currently at 3 inches wide. 2 and 3, but the laminate will be trimmed afterwards, okay? Now the length, I have done it to fit an A4 folded in half journal, so an A5 journal, but if you're using letter size you might want to adjust your sizes accordingly. And this is just a touch less than 8 3/4. It's not, it's I'll do that again. 8 1/2, 8 3/4, 8 7/8, we'll say. Okay, 8 7/8. So you can do whatever you want with that. You can is it 8 7/8 or is it 7 7/8? Yeah, I knew that. It's actually 7 7/8, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's the sizing of that. The page I haven't trimmed down yet. All I have done with this, it is a kneaded holding page. You can use any kind of paper you want. I have some here ready to go with book page, with printables, Edith Holden, anything that will fit the length of your page. Okay, so I have this cut to the right length. I know that I want to leave it a little bit up here, so let me get an A4 page or my signature, see where we need to cut this. That will be about there. I'm going to go a hair less than that. And I'm just going to cut that off. There's a kneaded holding piece that was kept, and I didn't do a very good job of cutting that straight as usual. Okay, so that's all our pieces prepped and ready. Our laminate machine should be ready to go. So I'm going to get my lace situated inside in the laminate piece, if I can get it opened. There we go. Now, one thing I will say, if you're working with laminate like this, try not to get any dirt on the inside of it. Ask me how I know. It is one of the things that always happens to me when I'm working with laminate. Get that back in there again. I just had a little thread to trim off there and it moved the whole thing again on me. Okay. So I'm going to try and center this as best I can. Now, obviously, working with lace, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but we'll do our best. So I have relatively even amounts top and bottom, and I could probably scooch it over a tiny bit towards the bottom. It's slightly crooked. That could be my cutting as well, I think. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Now, with my images, I'm using postage stamps. I used the actual stamps out of my printable in this. On this one that I'm still working on, I have used Fussy Cuts from my kit. I am going to use some Vellamy type tickets, you know, the ones I got these from in the Your Creative Studio box. I'm going to use some of those. Some labels, all sorts of things. I'll show you all that at the end, but your imagination, let your imagination run wild. You can use pretty much anything here. I'm going to be using stickers and everything in these. So okay, so with these ones I want to ink the edges. Aren't these very pretty? These are just in my stamp collection and they're absolutely beautiful. So that's those, and I'm just going to get these inked up really quick. Okay, so let's get these positioned. Now, I want them in a particular order. I want the smaller flower in the middle. So I'm going to try and position that very centrally. Just checking, is there a right and a wrong side to that lace? And there is. So I'm making sure that I'm putting it on the right side of this lace. Now, I'm just doing this by eye. but you can by all means measure if you wish. That looks pretty good to me. Maybe down a teeny tiny scooch. Okay, and then I'm going to position the other two equidistant from that one, making sure that I have enough room on the top and bottom, which I really should do. For my little ledges around the frames, okay? Ooh, moved it. Okay, so let's get this one closed up. Et voila. So I am using a carrier sheet for my laminator. That is entirely your choice whether you use a laminator or a carrier sheet or not. This is just one that I made myself from some backing from what's it called, Clear Contact. I used a sheet of it and I just had this stuff left. So I'm going to put my little piece in here. I'm just going to straighten up this stamp. I can see there that it's slightly crooked. Even though I'm not trying to be too precious about this, I don't really mind if they're not perfectly straight, but if I notice it, I'm going to change it, you know. There we go. And let's get our lace in there. Fold this down. Like I said, it's entirely up to yourself whether you use a carrier sheet. I find it useful to use it for the first pass in at least, and I will do actually a second pass with these pieces without the carrier sheet. That's just what works best for my laminator. Okay, so we have our two laminated pieces, and aren't they so pretty? I just love how the lace looks inside the laminate. I don't know what it is. I mean, I should point out as well, you could actually make these windows with just the lace sandwich in between the paper. But at the moment I'm just loving the laminated lace look. I don't know why, what's going on there, but I love it. And I think this particular one looks really pretty inside the laminate. I don't know that you guys are getting the full effect of this, but give it a try yourselves and just have a look and see what you think. So we have our two pieces. Now the next thing is to get our pages cut. Now I need to cut this one down. Just checking there to see how much room I have to play with, and not a whole lot. So I am going to see, I want to take the top and the bottom off to take away that white space, so I'm just going to mark it with a pencil. Okay, so we have our two pieces. Now this one is going to be much easier, so we'll work with this one first. Now I have decided that I'm going to use die cuts for these, and I actually haven't decided on the die cut for this one, but that should be relatively simple. So I have lots of nice little fancy shapes and things like that, so I'm going to make use of those. And okay, so let's mark the center for a start. Pencil. I mean, you could just eyeball this, and generally speaking I would. So we have 20.5 centimeters. nearly 21. One second now, we'll get that started properly. So there is roughly the centre. Okay, sorry for the clatter, guys. So rude of me. So I'm going to want to place it here first of all. We could do it this way. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I kind of like that idea. So these ones, I've hand cut the windows. I just marked out where my little stamps were falling, and I just hand cut them with my knife and my ruler. But like I said, I've decided that I want to use the dies for this. You could also use your Cricut. If you were handy enough with your Cricut, work away. But I actually think that might be lovely. So I think I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to go get this right in the center. We'll get some tape. I say right in the center, as close as I can. Get that on there. And I'm cutting both sides of this paper. I'm cutting right through it. So I'm just getting that in the right place. Now, I have 3 die cut machines, so I have a choice at the moment, and I am actually going to use my teeny tiny one. This over here. This is just one that I got in my local supermarket, Aldi. Okay, so there's one window. And we have a couple of little pieces to play with at another time. Yes. Oh, there should be 2 pieces there. Should there not? I'm sure there is. Oh no, look, there's the other one. I knew it was there somewhere. Okay, so that is the first one. Now we are going equidistant with these. So let's see. Let's try about there. Does that line up? Let's see. Does look pretty good. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And that is the windows. Oh, sorry, those are the windows for the blue lace one. So let's have a look and see how that's going to look through there. Isn't that so pretty? That's really cute. So that is going to be our side top. Now I need to figure out placement of that. We need a sliver taken off of that side maybe, or we could do it this way. Okay. So let's have a look at getting it positioned correctly. I've put down all my rulers out of my hand and now I can't find any of them. I had them 2 seconds ago. You saw them. Here we go. So we need to make sure that we have enough leeway at the side here to glue or stitch. Let's see how we do here. Okay, that allows us to position it much easier. We do still need to take some off of this side. It's coming out under the edge of the paper here, and we need to leave about 1/4 of an inch again to allow ourselves to glue. Now I am actually going to take another piece off the top and the bottom of this also. I'm going to have to remember to double check with the rest of them because I thought I had them all trimmed correctly. Okay, so we need another piece off of here. Yeah, so I think that will work. It's going to be so cute. Now at this point you need to decide which side of your page you want showing, because we're doing these as pockets. The back won't be seen, so I definitely don't want the inside. If I was doing something about travel or something like that, maybe, but I just want the words. And I don't think it's going to matter, but I'm going to leave the folded edge be the pocket edge where things are being slid in. I could do it that way and I could make it work and it would be totally fine as long as it's glued properly, but if I have a choice I will always leave that folded edge be the pocket edge. Okay, so next thing, and I'm sorry about this, but I need to ink these edges because if I don't ink them now I don't get a chance to ink them, but I will speed up the video for you guys. Okay, so that's that inked up. Next thing is to get it positioned inside where we want it. Now I am just putting a tiny bit of my fabric glue around here just to secure it in place where I want it, so that I can glue the rest of it without it moving around. This is not meant to stick it, and in fact wouldn't stick it into place. Like I said, it's just as a placeholder kind of. Okay. Now I don't want to smear this around too much, so I'm going to try and lay it down where I actually want it, if possible. That looks pretty good. Yeah. Okay. So now I can go and glue the rest of my page together. And like I said, if you are not sewing, get out your glue that you use for sticking things like acetate, whether it's Fabri-Tac. Does Fabri-Tac stick acetate, guys? I don't actually know. I've never used it. Simply because it's very expensive to get compared to other glues here. So I just don't use it. Oh no, look what I've done. Oh, every time. There's always something. Anyway. What's life if you can't make yourself laugh, eh? Alright, let's get this glued up. Now that one is ready for the sewing machine. You need to leave it dry, obviously, because my sewing machine wouldn't like that very much. Now let's go and get our other one situated. Now I'm not actually like doing anything more to these papers and things at the moment, but I can always come back and do some stamping, some painting. If I'm using things like distress inks and things to stamp, that won't affect our acetate. The only one really that would affect the acetate is StazOn. The archival might stain it a little, but you do have some leeway to get that off. But yeah, so I am, you know, I will decorate these afterwards. I might add trims and laces and things like that. who knows? Sky's the limit. In fact, on these ones, I'm thinking that I'd like a little dangle, but I'm not sure if I want it here on the corner that's close to the edge of the page, or if I want to do a couple in here. But I will have a look at that when I'm putting them into the journals. But for this one, we just need to get our piece in place. So I can tell that this is going to need cutting down, but that's okay. Let's get our let's get our pieces cut out. I had marked on the back of these pieces which die I wanted to use with them, but I forgot to look. So yeah. Okay. So if we go central, going central. That would be there. So let's get that cut. Okay, so that's the first one. Now, these are a little bit more challenging because we need to figure out the exact placement of our die for our stamps. Okay, now I can see through this paper. If I lift this up to the window, I can see through it where the stamp is placed and get my die in position. Hooray! So it is around about there. I thought these stamps were all the same size, but the one that I'm doing now appears to be slightly larger. Or no, it's actually the frame of the die. Yeah, I'm not even going to try and explain that one to you. To you guys. What do I mean by the frame of the die? I will actually tell you. I will tell you. So if you look at your die with the cutting side facing you, you will see that the blade is in the middle of this metal piece. So this lip here, when you turn it over, you think that that's going to be your shape, but it's not. It's actually cutting back here a little ways. So that makes the frame look smaller on this side and bigger on this side. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, and if you really want to know, I will do my best to explain it better. But it's just one of those mind bogglers. It's not, it's quite simple when you actually think about it, but trying to explain it is way more complex than it needs to be. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Awesome. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm just going to put this out of the way. I am going to need it again, but I have so little room on my desk. Okay, we need to trim this down. Hooray, hurrah! Okay, gonna pop that into position and get it ready for sewing. Oh, don't get it inky. So we have these all stitched up, and ready to go in our journals. I love them. Now, get all my threads off here because, why not? Because I can. Okay, so I think that is that. So the stitching on these, I just did a kind of a wide zigzag stitch around the full edge of this, and then I did a very small straight stitch around the windows themselves. And on this one I did a straight stitch in a square, and then I went higgledy-piggledy all the ways around a couple of times. It's not very obvious because I'm using a buff coloured thread, which on these papers really doesn't show up very much on camera at least, but in real life you can see and feel the texture, and it's really, really nice. So I'm going to leave these at this because I don't know what journals they're going into, and traditionally this is the problem that I have had previously with mass making. I found it difficult to mass make anything because I didn't know the theme, but I figure if I use things like this, they are neutral, or even just, you know, something that's not too specific, I can make the base piece like this and then really decorate them afterwards. Add little touches that go with the journal that I am making at the time. So that is the idea there. So that's those two. I won't get the others made tonight, guys. I thought I would, but apparently I won't. Oh no, I'm after losing all my bits. Oh no. I'll have to go searching for them before I do anything else. But you have the main idea of them, which is, I mean, really what I wanted to give you guys. So there we have those. Aren't they pretty? And they're going to look so cute in a journal as a side tuck. Now I just want to show you guys as well that, let me see, I have some white paper here. When you put something in behind it, it will be seen. So it is, you know, it's quite nice. You'll be able to see some of the detail behind those as well, which is really, really cool. I love them. I really like them. So I'm very happy with my little makes today. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give them a go. They're very, very fun. You can put little things at the bottom to dangle out the bottom or the top or the sides. I might put a ruffle down sides them, things like that. Yeah, very fun. Okay, thanks for hanging with me today, guys. I will be back very, very soon with another video. Talk to you soon. Bye.